Hello, my name is Maria from mathmammoth.com. In this lesson we're going to look at growing patterns. So here's one. It has 3 steps drawn out. The first step has these 6 dots, kind of in an array, but in the second step we see that it's like a rectangle that starts expanding. And so to determine a formula for this, we want to look at the numbers of the dots compared to the step numbers. That's how I work at these. We can see that it's expanding here. This side of the rectangle, if you think of it as a rectangle, it's 2, 3, and 4. And then this other side, the horizontal side, is 3, then 4, then 5 dots. So it keeps increasing by 1 dot. So the next step, we would have 6 dots this way and 5 dots that way, right? But now when thinking of the formula, this is how I think about it. I think of how it is growing. And the way I think about it growing may be different from the way you see it growing. But one way to visualize it is that I think of it as having 3 here and 3 here. And then 2 and 2 groups of dots. Then here it is 4 and 4 and 3 and 3. And the first step we would have had 2 and 2 and 1 and 1. And now if I compare these groupings into the step number, I see that in this step I have 2 times 2 and 2 times 3. Here I have similarly 2 times 3 and 2 times 4. And 3 is my step number. And 2 here is my step number. And this here, the 4, is just 1 more than the step number. And this also is just 1 more than the step number. So if you have step n somewhere, would it follow that it would have 2 times the step number 2n plus 2 times the step number plus 1, n plus 1, like that. So that would be my formula if it actually works. Let's test it for step 4. For step 4, this predicts 2 times 4 is 8, plus 2 times 5 is 10, or 18. If I draw it according to the pattern, how I see it growing, I will get 5 dots, 4 dots here, 5 dots going up again, and 4 dots here. So yes, 10 and 8, 18. Now, I can also take this formula I just got and simplify it a little bit. 2n plus 2 times the quantity n plus 1. If I use here the distributive property, I get 2n plus 2, and the 2n here. Now I can combine 2n and 2n to get 4n plus 2. And if you visualize this pattern growing in a different way and work out a kind of a different looking formula, and then simplify yours, it should come out the same as mine in the end. I'll show you now another way to visualize this pattern growing. And that is, a person could think of it as having here 3 dots, 3 dots, 3 dots, 3 dots. This was step 3. So 4 groups of 3 dots and 2 extra dots. And then over here, a person could see it as having 4 dots, 4 dots, 4 dots, and 4 dots, and 2 extra dots. Okay? So we get 4 times 4 plus 2. And here we get 4 times 3 plus 2. And would we here get 4 times 2? This here, this here, this here, this here? Yes, 4 times 2 plus 2. And so in general, the case n, step n would be 4 times n plus 2. Now how about here? How do you see this pattern growing? Try to come up with a formula for step n. If I number my steps, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I can see here groups of 4 dots. 4, 4, 4, and a central dot, right? 3, 3, 3, and a central dot. 2, 2, 2, and a central dot. So for step n, I would have n dots, n dots, n dots. 3 groups of n dots plus 1. Did you get the same? Now let's solve the question that in which step would this particular pattern have 97 dots? You solve it first. I could use guess and check, or I could write an equation. 3n plus 1 equals 97. We can actually solve it by guess and check. 3 times a number plus 1 has to make 97. Let's say this 30. 3 times 30 is 90. That doesn't quite make it, right? If it is 31, we get 93 plus 1. If it is 32, that works, right? 3 times 32 plus 1 equals 97. So in step 32, we would have 97 dots. Lastly, a question the other way around. For 3n minus 2, if that is the formula for a growing pattern, what kind of pattern could it be? Make up one. I will show you one that I made up. It is here. We have 3n, so this is step 4. 3 times 4 minus 2 is 12 minus 2 is 10 dots. I think of it as if there's a set of 4 dots, and this one here is then 4 minus 2 dots. It's lacking 2 from being the third set of 4 dots. So the next step would be 5, 5, and 3. Okay? Like a trapezoid, kind of. All right, we're all done with this lesson.